कर देता हूँ। Yes, 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 yes. ये भी बैकएंड में चलता रहेगा अपना। स्टार्ट रिकॉर्डिंग कर देता हूँ। ओके, ये हो गया। अभी आपको इसको कुछ नहीं करना है। You can continue. ये menu.
Good evening. Before start the meeting, I request everyone to put their phone in silent, please. I would like to welcome everyone to the 15th meeting of the Museovision group at Lalbhai Dalpatbhai Museum. My name is Priyanka Kundu and I am the museum keeper of LD Museum and I will be your compere for the meeting. Let us begin the meeting by lighting the lamp, and for that I want to invite Dr. Naresh Shah, Sri Nandan Shastri, Dr. Prasanna Gandhi and Ms. Sujata Persai to light the lamp.
Ms. Priyanka, it is better just make your video on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great, great.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you, Tanishka ma'am, Sujata ji, Dr. Inasha and Nandan ji. The museum is honored to host this meeting and I would like to mention brief about LD Museum. Lalbhai Dalpatbhai Museum is a division of Lalbhai Dalpatbhai Institute of Indology. Best known for its collection, the Lalbhai Dalpatbhai Museum is one of the finest museums of Indian art. Okay, there are people joining. Yeah. Uh, Lalbhai Dalpat Bhai Museum is one of the finest museums of Indian art in Ahmedabad. A wide range of sculpture, bronzes, illustrated manuscript, miniature painting and drawings, wood carving, ancient and contemporary coins, textiles, beadwork pieces are on display. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce the Museovision Group. The group on the WhatsApp platform was founded on July 16, 2016 in Ahmedabad, India. It has at present 195 members from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Singapore, Brazil, Australia, UK, USA. It has 8 chapters, 7 chapters from various regions of India and the Indian overseas chapter. It serves an active platform to discuss and interact on various topics of museums and museology as well as heritage. So far, 14 on-site and 6 online meeting of the group uh, has been held. Thank you everyone for your presence today in this meeting titled Museum Labels Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow. Now I would like to welcome Ms. Sujata Persai, the Director of LD Museum, to introduce the topic and welcoming the guest speaker. Thank you.
So I start I can do that. A warm welcome to everyone and welcome to the museum, uh, this gathering for the Museovision. I'm welcoming all friends and professionals and all the Museovision Parivar who are here with us from all parts of the country who are online, who have joined us. And I welcome all the audience who is sitting over here. Special welcome to the members of West A and West B group, क्योंकि ये आपकी ही meeting है. So this is, let's really enjoy and namaste to everyone. I would first like to start by welcoming Dr. Naresh Shah, who has kindly consented to preside over the meeting today. To our speakers who have joined us both online and in person, to Dr. Rautela, who has agreed to answer questions all the way from Dehradun, and each one of the participants who have taken out time and who are joining us here today. So again, welcome. Our topic for this meeting is museum labels yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You might think, what is there to discuss regarding museum labels? Something you want to do? Yeah. They are the most common things in the museum apart from the objects itself. So it's a very ordinary thing, the museum label. But what exactly is the museum and what is the function it serves? So, in the briefest sense, the museum label, which is placed beside the museum artifact, presents to the visitor certain descriptive essentials like the title, the date of fabrication or making, its material, the name of the artist, if any, and the provenance. The label reflects the museum's time honored role as a keeper and classifier of objects and their history. And reading between the lines, the museum label underpins the museum's function of social and education purpose. It also tells how the object has come to the museum. Is it a loan? Is it a bequest? Is it a gift? And from whom? Then there are descriptive labels also. But what should be written first? How big should they be? Which language do we write them in? Where are they to be placed? And what words to use? Those of us who have actually had to make labels surely agree how much thinking, planning, research work is done behind the scenes. And still there is ambiguity, often varying opinions. I wonder if there is actually only one way or are there many multiple ways of making a label. I'm really delighted that we have some illustrious speakers who will throw light on this subject today. And as the title suggests, we will be discussing how labels were made in the past, what are the current methods, and most excitedly, what are the new trends of labeling. So without much ado, I'm going to hand over the meeting back to Priyanka. And again, I welcome you. Just before leaving, I'd like to welcome you all and thank you once again for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujata ji. We would like we would now like to start the presentation by inviting our first speaker, Sri Nandan Shastri. Nandan ji, a senior museum professional, has an experience of working in museums in 5 museums in India and 7 museums in USA, including American Museum of Natural History, New York, Asian Art Museum, San Francisco, Sardar Patel University Museum in Gujarat. Currently, he is the museum consultant for the National Museum of Tribal Freedom Fighter, Garudeshwar near Statue of Unity. Nandan sir, please.
Dear fellow members of Museovision, invited guests, and my dear friends. Before I start my presentation on the subject of smart labels, let me introduce very briefly the topic. Uh, Museums typically record information about individual objects on labels that accompany art or archaeological object or scientific specimens. A relatively new method to record information is barcoding. By the advent of smart labels, the information is read by scanning by your mobile phone is a two-dimensional symbol, QR code, where a QR code was introduced for first time in 1994 by Masahiro, an engineer from Japan. Uh, he is now working on QR codes design in color. Masahiro recently visited Karnavati University in Ursad, Gandhinagar in Gujarat. Uh, this is the uh, topic of my presentation, smart labels. Next slide. What size and font should, yeah, full screen. Second. Yeah. New Orleans Museum of Art, NOMA. Visitors use hotspots or animated touch points to initiatively navigate through layered multimedia interpretation in 10 digital labels placed throughout the museum galleries. Seconds. Hmm. Mhm. Other slides. Yeah. Hmm. Now, slide number 3. Hmm. Number 3. Ah, yeah. Full screen. થઈ Next. So here you see a digital label entitled A Lady in Waiting, a painting. Next. These are the various highlights of a label. Uh, those who are attending online, they also should feel free if they have any question even after Q&A. I will answer to them by their email ID. Next. This is the QR code and the information is read on the mobile. Next. Here you see uh, from the ceiling the track light system, and in one specific showcase there are so many objects. So the labels, as you know, are of two types. One is a group label, another is a individual label of every object displayed inside the showcase. Next. So here you see glare on the portion of the label due to spotlight track at the ceiling. So uh, out of many challenges, this is one of the challenge, that the spotlight angle should be uh, handled in such a way that the shadow of the object on display is eliminated, as well as the reflection, I mean glare on the label, it should also be removed. Here you see the mistake. Next. Smart label of art. Uh, there is exclusively museum from University of Chicago. The name of the museum is Smart Museum of Art. Next. Arrange in divergent culture. The object on view are curated in direct dialogues with the arguments, questions, and themes of individual courses across disciplines. The installation offers students an opportunity to examine artworks associated with their classes and provenances, a glimpse of university teaching for all of the museum's visitors. Next. Here you see a painting, Carol Wilson Messick, male nude, 1885, charcoal on laid paper, mounted on a parchment paper. That is from Smart Museum of Art, the University of Chicago. Next. Here you also see an object which appears three-dimensional. So that is also an advantage of a smart label. Next. Here that one is eagle column, Makerchar Hunt, uh, uh, date 1989, and the other information including dimensions, uh, gifted from whom, its object number, etc. is given. So on your mobile you can track all the information. Next, please. Here is a object from Science and Technology Museum. Next. Power on demand, and you see its label uh, by QR code. You can see the information on your mobile. Uh, in this particular museum, you it is accessible in 7 languages. Next, please. The necessity of applying MR technology in digital exhibition halls is expounded by revealing the advantages of digital exhibition halls compared to traditional exhibition halls. The Museum of London uh, will be one of the first public locations in London to start using NFC technology, that is near field communication. NFC also complements wireless technologies such as Bluetooth, ultra wideband, UWB, Wi-Fi direct, and QR codes. Next. The display comes in 6 inches and 9.7 inches, battery powered and completely cordless. It enables a drill-free installation with little or no effect on the integrity of the gallery space. Next. Smart labels are QR codes that your phone can scan and manage. In the application, add photos, names, descriptions of each item in your box. Later, when you want to find an item, search for it in the app to find its exact location along with the labels, color, and ID. Next. The Museum of London will be one of the first public locations. I have already dealt with this side. Next, please. Here you see common connected technologies in smart labels, which I have already mentioned. Next, uh, radio frequency identification. RFID, Smart Label Near Field Communication, NFC, and Smart Label Quick Read Codes, QR codes. These are the important uh, components of smart labels. Next, in National Museum, New Delhi, the audio video will be made available through intranet, museum areas being Wi-Fi zones, and will allow visitors to hook on to the intranet and scan the QR code placed beside each artifact for a detailed information about it. Next, please. How to create a QR code on stickers or labels. First, go to QR code generator and select the type of QR code you would like on your sticker or label. Second, enter your website address. Third, your QR code will be generated automatically. Four, select colors to match your style or company brand identity. Next, please. Globally, people when visiting museums borrow audio equipments to have an audio guide with them, like in Asian Art Museum in San Francisco in California. This means waiting in long lines to wait for your turn and sometimes unavailability of the equipment. But a simple QR code generator with a logo can solve this problem. Next. At the height of QR codes, giants like the Smithsonian British Museum, the Getty, LACMA, Cleveland Museum of Art, American Museum of Natural History, Victoria and Albert, National Museum of China, and countless other museums have already incorporated QR codes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nandan sir, for this informative talk. Now we would like to call our second speaker, Ms. Tanishka Kachru, Senior Faculty, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. Tanishka Kachru is a senior faculty in exhibition design at the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. She leads the design history course for the undergraduate program. Tanishka's research interests are in the areas of design histories from environmental perspective, design heritage interpretation, and museums and representations. Tanishka is currently leading the development of the archives at NID. Over the past 5 years, she has curated a series of exhibitions to bring visibility to the role of archives in constructing design histories. She has also worked on strategy and design for museums across India. Yeah, yeah.
to all of you. Thank you, Sujata ji, for hosting and inviting Nandan ji, who is presiding over this meeting, and also all the members who are here on screen. I'm really pleased to be here, and I'm also, I think I should say sorry that I have not been able to attend meetings till now, despite being in Ahmedabad. But the life of a teacher is very 24 hours. Um, However, although today I'm here in the role of a designer in front of you, my journey with museum started in 2000. So I guess it's been 23 years. In 2000, I got my first museum job. It was at the Museum of the City of New York. At that time, I was a student. I was a student doing a master's in design history at the Parsons School of Design. And they said, ki, instead of taking a course you can for credit, you can also go intern in a museum. And I had so much fun that every semester that I took one internship. So I ended up throughout my just 2 year master, I ended up doing three internships in three different museums in New York. And it really gave me an interesting insight into how museums were transforming into the 21st century. Because it's the turn of the century. And today we think of those Western museums as very advanced, as models that we should emulate. But at that time, change was still coming. And after that, after graduating, it was also a very difficult time in the United States. 9/11 ho gaya tha. I had got an internship with the Getty, but I didn't want to stay on, so I moved to work in the V&A, and I worked there for the next 5 years before coming to Ahmedabad. So, in short, that's my museum journey. And I'm really lucky that after I came here, also I've got an opportunity to work with museums, but coming at it from design. And I'm so happy to be with all of you who have the privilege of working in museums in India. I wish I had got that opportunity when I moved back, but it was not to be. So next slide, please. So today, this is a question that I posed to myself when you invited me to do this, and I said, okay, what makes a good exhibit label? I've been doing this for 20 years. I should be able to answer this question to some extent. And so I broke it down. I said, probably the first important thing for anybody who's working in a museum is that how can it contribute to the visitor experience, right? Because for us, the audience is always number one. The visitor is number one. Secondly, what are these elements of design that impact the interpretation of exhibits? And interpretation is an area that is increasingly in the 21st century. That was a transformation that happened, right? That museums went from being voices of authority to working in partnership with the knowledge that visitors brought to the museum, and therefore the emphasis on interpretation. And while I was at the V&A, one of the changes I saw that actually happened right in front of me is the so-called education department. And I know यहाँ पे we still have education department. It actually renamed itself in this transformation process, and it started to be called learning and interpretation. So learning is a two-way process. And finally, I'll also end with some practical tips because I think as practitioners, we're always looking at how can we apply what somebody is talking about. So unlike Nandanji, I haven't done much research. So this is literally the work that I have done and my own experience, observations from my experience. So I wanted to start with this slide to show you a giant oversized label, right? So as you can see, the chair is lying on this platform. There's no label next to it. The label is actually completely oversized and blown up. And this was a technique that we kind of wanted to use to draw attention, to the information. And therefore, this is probably what we call now an interpretive label, right? Where the label becomes also a means of telling a story and not just giving description or giving a record of information, right? Next, please. This is from the same exhibition, but now this part of the exhibition is in the gallery, but we maintain that whole idea of the the oversized label why am I talking about temporary exhibitions when here we're talking about permanent museums, and there's a lot more that goes into when you're designing for permanent galleries, right? Because things have to stay up for a long time. So this 1 month exhibition actually I converted into a 1 year long gallery experience at this panorama gallery that we have in MIT, and it stayed up from 2016 to 2017 December. So there was a very different approach here. So now you can see that on that podium, small labels have, like we recognize in museums, they have appeared, right? Because it didn't make sense to have those oversized labels in this space. Next, please. And you can see them scattered across on all the individual podiums. Although we have one large interpretive panel at the back, which sort of explains the making of the Mira chair. Now, while I was, 2016, I was like, because of this furniture exhibition, I was really into this thing about how do you display furniture, because furniture is an everyday object, you sit on it, you use it, you're constantly moving around. How do you make people see it as special? And then I went to Germany that year and I visited the Bergford Museum, and I saw this really interesting way that they had displayed the furniture. It's an archive, so they had a lot of furniture, so it was literally on shelves. But then they placed this label, if you can see at the top, there is a label that is almost coming out like a flag on the side, and it's really at your eye level and drawing your attention. And I thought, what a good idea. I don't have to look for the label, it's literally there. So as a designer, when I'm always thinking about placement and relationship between the object and the label, this suddenly struck me as something interesting. Next, please. In 2017, I also worked on the Kasturba Lalbhai Museum, which I hope most of you might have seen. It's here in our city. And this was also a unique challenge because I guess we could call this a period house, right? It was somebody's home and they lived there, and the family also wanted to tell the story of the house and its owner and their contribution to the city and the country, of course. So it needed to display the art collection, especially the collection from the Tagore's in the old house, but it also needed to retain that sense of being a home that was lived in for many years, and a period home, right? And by period, one means that it belongs to a particular era. It was constructed in the 1930s, commissioned by Kasturba Lalbhai himself, and he lived in it, up till the time he passed away. And it was only, I think, in the 1990s that the family moved out of this home. So, where are the labels? I think you can notice in this image, the labels are not on the wall next to the drawings or the painting, they are on tables. Next, please.
Yeah, it's stuck.
So there was a moment when we had a lot of debate actually about the placement of the labels, the client and the patron, Jayashree Ben, and with the curator, with the designers, with team of designers which I was leading, and we were like, कहाँ लगाएं, इधर लगाएं, उधर लगाएं, बहुत testing किया, and finally we said that no, actually, but once you put a label on your wall, you have actually given the space the sense of being a gallery, right? And if you take it off the wall, then it sort of moves away from that. So therefore, the decision to keep them on the tables, and visitors can also pick them up, so they're not stuck to the tables as far as I remember. That is what decision we had taken. People should actually be able to pick it up because a museum also doesn't have huge numbers of visitors. It's by guided tours. You can pick it up and you can see. So the groups of paintings on the wall. So there is a diagram that shows A, B, C, D, and okay, labels. So it's sort of accessible. Next, please. So all projects have their own different challenges. Now another be a turn the pages experience and it's there, सब लोग देख लेंगे. We can actually put the information on the first page of the digital, of the screen as well. So do we need a label? Right? And this is a debate I see happening many times. People feel that digital exhibits don't need labels because maybe they are not exhibits, they're not artifacts, right? But for an audience, it's quite different. Everything that's in the museum, for an audience can actually feel like an artifact. And you need to build a bridge between the audience and whatever it is that they're looking at. So we did put a label next to it, which gave the audience clues about what it is. And this time you can see in the cabinet, which is also designed to look like an Art Deco cabinet, but it's a display case really. And it has these postcards which were written by students, artists in Shantiniketan to their uh, teachers. So they're two-sided, so there are mirrors and you can see. And you're like, it's so like busy, label kahan lagaye? You can't put it inside. It looks very odd to put it on the cabinet. If you put it on the wall by the side, then people might miss it. So we hit upon this idea of actually putting the labels in a beautiful handmade book. So on the table next to it in the image, on the left, you can see the book is there, and it has beautiful calligraphic sort of this thing. So people pick it up because of curiosity, and then they realize that actually the book has the labels of the postcard. And one big advantage of doing it this way was that we could actually transcribe what was written in the postcards and also do it multilingual. Like if the text was in Bengali, then we could also give it in English, Hindi, or whatever. So this became an interesting way of tackling the problem challenge that came to us. Next.
I'm so sorry.
And actually, the person holding the book in that image, she's the designer of the book. Interpretive labels can, of course, like I showed you in that Nakashima exhibition, the oversized giant label, that's an interpretive label because it uses text, image, drawing, everything together to give you a location and positioning, like a story, a narrative of the artifact. But here's another great example. This is from a DAG exhibition some years back, which I was visiting, and I was really amazed. It was like a fabulous moment when I found this tactile label. And not just tactile, and the tactile label includes the painting, so you have a tactile experience of the painting itself, and then you have the information, right? Otherwise, you would have thought, oh, let's just put the label in braille. But they also thought about how to give a tactile experience um, of the artifact itself. And of course, for us as sighted people, we think, "Arey, this will not match up. ये कैसे होगा? Visual experience को tactile में कैसे करेंगे?" But I think it's hard for us to imagine. And a lot of research has gone into this idea of tactile labels, and it does. Colors also have a kind of taste and a smell. It seems which we don't, as sighted people, we are also attuned to, and it can actually impact the experience that non-sighted people have. Next, please. This is also interesting. I noticed. I wanted to show this to you. Can't remember why I put it here though, but this was a temporary exhibition, and they had collected. It was of artifacts collected and distributed by the community, and it's a kind of interpretive label which also engages the audience to participate in the making of the exhibition. So a simple question is posed, and like a participant who's in the artifact writes the answer, and probably there's a word limit. So I thought this was also interesting to think about, like whose voice is the label written in, right? Usually it is a very distant kind of thing. There is an information, and then we are all taught to write that objective description, right? But actually, sometimes changing the voice also involves the audience, helps to involve the audience. Next, please. And this is, of course, in the natural heritage make our exhibitions look different. We try new colors, we try different things. And this is from the Crafts Museum, an exhibition a few years ago. So it's sort of dark, like a very saturated red on dark grey. And in the photograph, it actually looks quite hard to read. But in reality, I have to say that in the space, it was not so difficult to read because of the way they had modulated the writing and also the size of the text. And it's actually not a small label, it's actually a big panel. So it works here. But if you tried this kind of a color contrast for a small label, it wouldn't work. So don't try that. Stick to black and white. Lighting, as Nandanji also mentioned, very important. This is, can you spot the label in this photo? This is at Mumbai airport. It's there in the bottom, just over the railing. Yeah. There's so much reflection that it's really, really hard to see. There's light coming from the back, there's reflection. So, of course, Jayahe is actually the biggest museum that we have in the country right now in terms of, area and maybe not artifacts, but in terms of area, it is thought to be the biggest museum. But wahan pe bhi, there are many things that they could have, and you can also see the glare of the spotlight there as well, which is what Nandanji was also saying. Yes. Okay. So I work with a lot of graphic designers who specialize in selecting typeface, working on the size, the spacing. And I'm showing you two labels here. I'm sorry, one is at an angle, but both of these have very different spacing between the text. And that also makes a huge difference to the readability. So type selection, size, spacing, all of this really impact readability. And although there are some, tips that don't go below 12 point size, I as a designer find that actually nothing works best than trying out and just putting it there in the space because every space is different. Every space has different conditions. The distance from which people are viewing is different, right? So viewing distance, all of that, unless you prototype it in the, do a dummy in the space, these decisions are very hard to take. So, so what is wrong with this label? Tell me. Anybody? हाँ? हाँ. नहीं title तो एक ही line में. Second line actually is place, but because of the size given, it looks like a title, no? And then you feel yeah. So there's yeah, one side is very nicely spaced, the other side is all very, so there's a strange juxtaposition. So there are many things going wrong in this label. This label is actually from the Indigo exhibition, but
Italic and italic and
yes. वो भी बहुत visually disturbing है ना. And spacing is wrong.
yeah,
It's
font color also.
color. So color actually, I think one thing interesting in this label because this was that exhibition about indigo. They've actually used the color to kind of create the connection
Artifact.
with the exhibition, the concept of the exhibition. But yeah, it's a bit of sort of lot of improvements are needed. Next, please. Design elements is the last thing, no, fourth thing that I wanted to talk about. These are actually examples from a museum in a rural area that I worked on. We worked on this for 8 years. It's the Biographical Museum on Swami Vivekanand in Khetri, Rajasthan. And we finally inaugurated it in 2019. So इसमें multilingual labels हैं, Hindi, English, and they're very beautifully spaced. And in these labels, because of the context, so this is in a Shekhawati palace, there's a lot of beautiful decoration. We've used these design elements, like you can see at the bottom, there is this, pattern that is running along, and even between the title of the label, there's a little line there. There's an icon that actually indicates that you can hear about this on the audio guide. So all those design elements are incorporated because of the context in which this not like doing, transfers, sticking transfers on the wall. But in this case, I thought it worked really well. Although this is not a museum, it's a temporary exhibition at the Serendipity Art Festival in Goa. And this is a interpretive exhibit which you're supposed to touch. So the label at the back says, please touch, and says, what these things are. So I think in some cases you can, like in temporary exhibitions, if you're sort of having in the museum, you can use this kind of material as well. But mostly it is best to stick to, materials which are more robust and won't, just peel off or fall off easily, and are also easily replaceable in case they get damaged. Next, please. That's the last slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this amazing and informative talk. Now, I would like to invite our third speaker, Dr. Girish Goswami, who is joining us online. Girishji, are you there? Yeah, I'll just stop sharing. Girishji, are you there? Am I audible to you? You are on mute, sir.
Okay, yes, it's okay. I was just waiting that once it is done, then I'll share my slides.
Okay. So, welcome you, sir. Dr. Girish Goswami is the project director of Regional Science Center, Bhavnagar. He is an administrator, academician, and researcher having more than 22 years of work experience in the field of molecular biology and biotechnology. After obtaining master's degree in biotechnology from IIT Roorkee, India, Dr. Goswami worked at NIMS Medical College, Jaipur, JECRC, Jaipur, and Amity University, Rajasthan, Jaipur. CU Shah University, Surendranagar, as professor and dean, Faculty of Sciences. He has developed various programs and development for undergraduate and postgraduate and research. Dr. Goswami has more than 25 research articles. He is active member of various committees and editorial board of many national and international journals. Once again, welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much for giving this nice introduction. So now I'll just share my presentation. Is it visible to all?
Yes,
Priyanka,
sir.
it's visible?
Yes, sir, your sides.
All right, fine. So first of all, I would like to thank to the organizers for giving me this chance to speak to all the gathering here, offline and online. And I will be sharing my experience about the museum levels, especially considering the our center. And actually, our center was earlier known as the Regional Science Museum, and later on it was changed by the government to Regional Science Center Bhavnagar. But the entire design and the execution was done under the umbrella of the museum. So I will be sharing my experiences for this development of this center. We had a three-tier system. We had the Tata consultancy engineers as our the design consultant. Then we had two agencies from the construction side and the exhibit side, and one for the consultant to look over the overall perspective of this development. But in spite of having all the experts on board, we did a couple of changes as far as our understanding, our research, and I will be sharing all the challenges and the solutions which we incorporated for this better experience by the visitors. So now you can see that it is the entry part, and where as the label we have just mentioned the name, and all the other things are the in the form of the pictures. so that audience or the visitors can feel that what exactly they're going to feel. Because we have seen that if you use more text, so it kills the feel. And as rightly said by the earlier speakers, the texture, color combination, and I am of the opinion that apart from the size, the color combination plays a very big role. Here you can see that we have dedicated different color codes to different galleries, and accordingly we have done certain changes in the museum levels. So if you see here, this is the representation of our marine aquatics gallery. So where we have kept the theme based on the blue, because of considering the deep blue sea, and on that we have used the white shade for this combination, and it's really very fantastic to see the color combination. Now you can see that here we have used the smart levels also, and here you can see that on this back wall. So here we have used the levels, but we have used certain color displays. So the moment it makes the interactive as well as the readability good also, and the track lights has been placed in a way that it do not create any reflection. Now earlier the design part which was given to us, that all these should be covered by the glass, but actually we worked out that glass again create the big reflection and it kills the feel. So what we did certain R&D, and then we found out that the material which should be used for this display should have the capacity to absorb the light in a way that it should not give the reflection. And for that we have used the foam sheet on the back side, and then on that we have pasted this. And really it's a very amazing experience if you see that the combination and the reflection part, rather giving the reflection, now it is giving a better impression from the visitor's point of view. Now here you can see that the one as far as my experience is concerned, the track lights, even we have done some R&D with the track light color also. And to be very honest, the playing with the track light position and the color, both are very important in terms of the better experience for the visitors in terms of the display items. So now here you can see that we have used the certain combinations like the classical one. Here you can see that the standard methods, and we have done certain R&D in-house also, so to give the better experience. Some are beyond the scope of the agency, but we have implemented based on our experience and the better combination. Now, as the earlier speaker told, that we are a regional center, so we have to cater the needs of the region also. And that's what earlier the language for the display was suggested 3, that is English, Hindi and Gujarati. Then we found out that if we want to put the information, we are a science center, neither we can compromise with the quality, nor we can compromise with the content. So we decided, let us go with 2 languages in different combinations, and we decided to go with the regional language Gujarati and the English, because now every person is very comfortable with English, so that everybody can do the justice to the content. Now the question comes of the readability, because at the science center our main audience, or you can say that the main group of the visitors are from the schools or the colleges. So considering all the factors in terms of the height, the visibility, the distance, so we decided to display certain informations on the display items, neither on the tables. So we designed these display boards, and we pasted the information. And again you can see that to minimize the clearance, we do the changes in the focus light, and here you can see there is no reflection. And though they are not directly exposed, earlier they are directly exposed, here they are not directly exposed, they are having one layer of one sheet, that is the acrylic sheet, and absolutely there is no reflection. So that's how we could find out the changes. As I was telling you, that here we have used one smart level displayed on this, and the basic information here, because sometimes people, they come from the rural area and they do not are very acquainted with the technology, but those youngsters, those who come to visit our center, they are very smart, and they would rather reading the information on this, they go for this. So that's what. And adding to this point, we also worked out with the QR codes. It is in process, and very soon we will be able to display the QR codes on each and every exhibit for the labels. we have developed one dedicated mobile app also. So where all the information could be available on the mobile app, and either you can do the scanning through the QR code, or you can log in through the mobile app, so you can get the information. So earlier I was telling you the combination of the lights. Now here you can see that we have used three different lights: one white light, second one the green, and third one the blue. And we have prepared the combination, and here you can see that there is no display uh, board on the back. We put it on the front in the hanging part, so that people can very well see, and then we can correlate. To display the content, we again did some certain changes, and we displayed in the front. So this combination, I think, rather sticking to a single mode of operation, I suggest, it's my experience, that we can go with the combinations of the different methodologies to give a better look and feel. Now here again, I did a second gallery about the automobile gallery. So here also you can see that in this display, we have used the different combinations in terms of the color, in terms of the display. Earlier it was the blue and the white, here is the white and the black. And again, it's whenever we want to display something in terms of the museum levels, so the representation in terms of the, let us say the earlier speaker told that in spite of putting the more words, let us go for displaying the items in a way that people can get the question in their mind, that what exactly it's going about to tell. And that's how. So here again you can see the combination of the classical one on the top and the latest one, and the certain combinations in terms of the infographics displays on this, and again the third combination of this the display. So rather displaying every item here, we made this space free, and we played all the information here, and again we played the color combination, because single color will create the monotonicity. So we did a certain R&D, and then we displayed the item in somewhat the contrast. Rather going the classical black and white, we just played with this color combination with the theme. One of the beautiful part which I have experienced working with these various design experts and the engineers and the other things. So we have just displayed, it is known as this running, and on this acrylic band, rather we call it, and it creates a very good impression in terms of the displaying the content. So we have not used, but we can use this space also for creating the other levels in spite of hanging here. So we can use it here, but we found that hanging the display boards here makes a great sense of, you can say that, design betterment. Now again, here we have not used any classical one on the walls. We have used one smart display here. So we are all because we are going to display the latest technology in terms of the eco vehicles, that is the smart cars in the electrical chassis. So that's what we have used the levels according to the needs and the requirement of the exhibits and the area-wise display items. Now here we have done a certain blending with the help of the various methods which are available. So here you can see the track lights and the focus and the color combination. Three are in a good combination, and that's what the experience can be very different as compared to the other one. So now you can see that only one level is placed, no other information, and all the other information is displayed here. And we will put a QR code if anybody wants to get the more information either from the mobile app or from this QR code, they can get it. Here I would like to add that earlier it was suggested, and we didn't implement it, rather categorically. There was a voice controlled system, so where visitor can get the voice guided tour. But there was a challenge. The challenge was that intermixing of the sound, because the sound intermixing kills the real life experience. So we dropped that idea, and we decided to go with the QR code for this better understanding in terms of the reading and the writing. So here again, there is a very beautiful representation. So now we have done certain R&D with the height of the display items also, because we have to cater the needs of the school kids and the youngsters as well as the senior people. So we have done certain combinations based on the content and the availability space on the wall. So you could see that here the content is very limited, but all the information relevant to this particular exhibit are very well displayed with the help of the exhibit item type as well as the information in terms of the reading and the writing. So now it is another example of our one gallery of the biological science gallery. So you could see that if we do more content, so we have done certain changes in terms of the display items here. So we have just shown the picture as earlier speaker told, and then only single name. So this is just with a certain of combinations. So where we can the visitor can correlate the more information available here and here. So they can easily correlate the content, and it is not required that everybody is going to read everything. So for those who want to get the information just in terms of the relevance, they can get it from here. And if they want to read more information from here, and if they want to go into more depth, so the QR code will be available for this easy access. So this is a typical example of the classical sort of the display items available. So we have just used that also. So I could feel that our center could be a very good center for doing certain small level R&D, that how the visitors can experience. And while preparing this content, I referred a couple of research which was conducted, but not in India, but abroad also, that what are the visitor experience and how they can feel about the different combinations of the display items and how they feel better in terms of the reading and what is their output. So this is another combination of the display available in our ECM gallery. So here again we have we try to develop the various combinations in terms of the smart levels. Here you could see that it is available here, and the classical one and certain exhibit display items. This is another combination. So where we have used the leveling in a way that more representation should be given to the technology or the science behind the exhibit, and the basic information is available in the written content here again in 2 languages, and the font size has been kept in a way that the person sitting or the viewing this content from the distance of, let us say, 6 or 7 feet, they can easily read the content from the wall, and they can get the proper relevance of the content with the exhibit. Now we did some experimentation in terms of the, without telling the visitors about their look and feel. So we found that most of the kids, those who come, and the visitors also, they are more towards the digital displays rather going to the classical one. So that is our experience, and we were inaugurated on 29th of September 2022 by Honorable PM, and within a journey of 3 to 4 months, we found that the reading part is comparatively lesser liked by the visitors as compared to the smart levels. The biggest challenge which we saw is in our Nobel Prize gallery. And probably we are the only one in the country, those who are having the Nobel Prize gallery exclusively on the physiology or medicine, where since the 901 to 2022, all the Nobel laureates has been displayed with their work, and this under the same roof. So you could see that different combinations we worked out. Earlier, we were not having much experience in terms of the experimentation part, so we blended the old methods in terms of the display, as well as we played certain combination in terms of color and the look and feel. And you could see, and this is the classical area, which I could say that it is based on the classical methods, and this is the area where we implemented the smart levels in terms of this digital displays. And here you could see that on this wall, there is nothing except the name and the photograph of the researcher or the Nobel laureates. All the displays are available on the digital display, and some information for the rural to cater the rural needs or displays here. So that's how we have blended, rightly said, with the theme of the leveling, the yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So we have tried to incorporate all the possibilities in our center. So that's all from my side, and through this journey of this experience of the development of this center, I have learned a lot, and I am ready to share my experience with all. So if anybody needs any help, I will be very happy to help whatever we have learned here. And designing part, honestly speaking, designing part doing in the laboratory. and on paper is entirely different what exactly we see in real practice at the right place. So thank you once again, thank you all, and I invite you all to visit our center, and so that whatever we have discussed, we will discuss in full length. Thank you very much. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Girish sir, for your presentation. Unfortunately, our fourth speaker, Sunanda Sudhalkar, is not able to present today. So now we will commence our question answer session. We already have received the question in advance, and I would like to request Dr. G.S. Rautela, former Director General, NCSM Kolkata, to answer the question. He is a science communication professional, 45 years of experience in the field of science centers, museum management and development of science center and stream learning resources. Expertise in hands-on science and mathematics education. He loves to make science and maths exciting and enjoyable. He is the former Director General of National Council of Science Museum, India. At present, since June 2020, he is full-time advisor to Science City, Dehradun. Welcome, Rautala sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, it's a privilege to have you in the meeting, and thank you so much for agreeing to answer our question. Should I start?
Yes, welcome.
Thank you, sir. So our first question is, what kind of material is to be used for museum labels?
What kind of?
What kind of material is to be used
Oh,
for museum label?
I say, see the materials that you have. See, these are these are considerations for different locations or different material can be used. For example, when you are talking about artifacts which are very valuable and whose conservation issues are very important. So, and the label which you put inside the cabinet, which you open for after a long time, you can use which material which does not disintegrate, degenerate. For example, glass, acrylics, or treated wood, or even the paper, which can be preserved or treated before they are used as a label material. I want to tell you, label can be replaced, not the objects. In a historical art museum where artifacts are important, so I would consider these materials is not that important, but you can always replace, even if it is degenerated to some extent. So I would say, however, you can use glass, but glass problem is with the glass is when you write on it, the transparency, you have to make it opaque by painting on the backside. Blocking the transparency, making it opaque. Similar acrylic, of course, you can get different colors, and wood would be anyway preserved wood would be another material. Yes, go ahead. Next question.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, what are important consideration of museum label?
Yes, that's, I think that should have been your first question before we go to the. First of all, let me tell you, label is the link between visitor and the object of display. Okay, and it should be decided by the visitor or visitor's requirements, not. So how many of us in India or conduct visitor research to know whether they really read? I think I would like to tell you one research that, of course, is a common research, many people know about it. Visitors don't spend more than 1 minute per exhibit. Okay, so in 1 minute, even if you want to him or her to only read in your own mother tongue, you can read only about 200 words. Remember this, you can't read more than 200 words in your mother tongue. So it should be decided that visitor has to look at the exhibit, he has to she has to point, discuss, and also read. So you cannot devote full 1 minute to the label. So it has to be, I would consider 50%. 50 mean 30 seconds of a reading material means 70 to 80 words are ideal for a level. That's what once important. Second is and the point and font and point. What would you use? Spacing between the lines. And this Tanishka has told some few things to you earlier, and so I have been always taught that 36 point is the ideal level material, but it also depends where you are placing it. If you are putting little farther, the size would become automatically bigger. And also, I would like to tell you that younger visitors may read smaller letters, but the older senior citizens cannot read smaller letters. You have to have a compromise between that. So 24 to 36 point is one of the recommended size of the label that, and 1.5 spacing, 1.5 point spacing is also considered to be good. The next consideration is contrast, which has been told to you by Tanishka, is very important. And illumination. Now, the illumination, as she said, you cannot have compromise on illumination when you have artifacts which can get disintegrated, degenerated by ultraviolet and infrared components or light sources. So therefore, there we recommend only 50 lux of the illumination in the level. So what would be your level in that case? Can you have high illumination for the level? Yes, it is possible. Such cases we use backlit levels. From backside there's a light, so level only is illuminated, and the object is not that illuminated because you have to preserve the object which is valuable. That's one point. Then location in the cabinet. Where do you place the label location? Let me tell you, the label should make 90-degree angle with the viewing angle of the visitor. 90-degree, it should always be. I just saw Mr. Goswami showed his gallery layout. Few of the labels which are hung from the, or the gallery titles, or even the object titles are hung from the ceiling. Let me tell you, eye level is also very important. Eye level you cannot place. So eye level of the label should be at the eye level. If you are putting at the base of the cabinet where the object is displayed, then you have to tilt the level plane so that it makes 90-degree angle with the viewing angle with the level plane. Okay, that is important consideration. Then language. In India, we always have a serious problem of multiple languages. We museums use bilingual principles, mean two language, local language and the English. But let me tell you, have you ever counted your visitors from where they come? The visitors come from all over. I have one example in Bombay. We used to put the English as well as Marathi language, two languages. But 60% of visitors are North Indian who only understand Hindi, not even English, not even Marathi. Then what would you do for them? So you have to think about these considerations. Then interactivity. The visitors also have interactions in the science museum especially. So there we have to give instructions what to do, how to observe, what to turn, how to turn. We have observed graphical instructions are very useful. You cannot write too many sentences for instructions which visitor don't read. Then instructional levels, we call them instructional levels, where you instruct the visitor what to do. Then technology assisted levels. Now today we are talking about how, as I told you, you cannot give more than 90 words or 80 words or 100 words in a level. But the curator who is learned, who wants to inform all that he understand about the object, you can't fill up the whole surface with the level. So how can you help visitors? So I have there are drawers under the exhibit where you can put more information. Visitor can draw and read, or you have QR code, as Mr. Nandan Sastri told, which visitor can with your mobile phone can install. You can have iPads. iPads are the one good solution today, where you can have language selection. You can put as many languages. You can have as big as the label size. Also, you can increase the size of the font for senior citizens. So, these are the things which are helping in technology. And then there are takeaway levels. What are those takeaway levels? As Tanishka told, the level book. I would say level flip book. Small flip books can be available in the museum galleries or in the store or gift store where visitors can buy. Take away, they becomes interactive as well as they can read about the object. So these are, according to me, important consideration considering visitor, because museum is not for the expert who has built it, not Mr. Goswami, who is a biotechnologist, made a biotechnology gallery, but it is for visitor. You have to have it as simple as possible. Thank you. That's my answer to your question.
Thank you, sir. I think along with question number two, you already have answered the question number three and four, which is the type of the museum labels and an average visitor spend in front of the label. So I'd like to go with the next question. What is your view regarding group labels?
Yeah. Yes, the group label is one of the techniques that a lot of museums use, and it is very suitable when your lot of many objects are from one group and they belong to one category or one topic. For example, you are talking about bronzes, so you can give one group label for all those, and individual title for all objects that are on display. So group labels do help focusing those visitors who have less time to see everything. So they read and cursory look at the objects and read one grouped vertical level which is there. And I think they are useful for such galleries or such exhibition where you have objects connected to each other and placed in one location in the gallery and some other group in another location. So you can have group titles, group labels for them. They are useful for them. But when you have individual exhibits, they don't help because they don't explain individual exhibits. They don't tell much about individual exhibit. So they will not be useful for galleries where you have discrete objects which are not connected to each other. Okay, thank you.
And now the last question is, and very relevant, I guess, how technology can help the museum label display?
Technology, technical. Yeah. Okay. See, a lot of now you just talk about, Mr. Shastri showed some slide on near field communication. I have also mentioned to you about a few of the techniques like iPad and the QR code, quick response code, where visitor can take away a lot of information, download through that and take away. So these are one, I would say, supplementary support to a museum level. Even if you have technical support, you need little small write up on objects of the museum. But for those visitors who are interested, the technology helps. For example, iPad is one, QR code I have told. Now today museum app has become very useful. Museum app can wherever you are standing in front of the object, you just, if you are up on and you have a particular number which is written at the corner of an exhibit, and you press that quick click on that number, and the label, write up, even sound, videos, all can appear on your mobile phone. So that becomes very supportive to the exhibit. A lot of people are against technology in museums, especially history museums. But let me tell you, technology is not replacing the object. Technology is supporting communication from the object to the visitor. So that is how we have. But technology should not empower, superpower, or take away the what do you call, the creativity or the genius, ingenuity of the artist, which is on display there. Okay, that's what I meant. There is another one, augmented reality. Augmented reality is also helpful when you want to expose much more. For example, and there is an object there, there's a building, and you just put your mobile phone in front of the building. The building interiors are visible to you on your mobile phone. That's augmented reality. So that is more communication from the object. You can use this technology, but let me tell you, this is going to be future. No matter what you tell, whether our museum experts are against technology or not, the future is technology. Technology will always be helping you to communicate better with the on-site as well as off-site. That's what I mean to say. So I'm in favor of technology all the time, wherever used, but not to replace the objects, but to support the objects. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Rautela sir, for your time, for answering our question and sharing your views. Now I would like to invite Professor Naresh R. Shah, former faculty of Museology Department, MSU Baroda, to give the closing remarks. He has 25 years of experience of teaching conservation at post-graduation level and 12 years professional experience in the field of conservation of cultural heritage. He is recognized by the MS University Baroda as PhD guide in museology since 1999. He has contributed in the museum field through 2 books and 45 research papers. He has received Shastri Indo-Canadian Research Fellowship of 5 weeks duration for his project, a study on museum environment and conservation practices in India and Canada in the year of 2002. He has also received several other fellowships and he is associated with many journals on museums and heritage.
So, after hearing all learned speakers, we came to know the importance of labels. A small label, when one has to prepare, how much hard work he or she has to make. Label is not a very ordinary thing because the purpose of putting label is to communicate something about the exhibit. If you cannot do communication, there is no meaning of exhibition or no meaning of museum to educate people. Because the main function of the museum is to educate the visitors. So considering this fact, labels we put for communication purpose, but there are other ways and means, by which we can communicate the exhibits. The speakers have already told us, and we understood the importance of label. There should not be a too large label, there should not be a too small label. There is a space decided by the curator or the people where to put label. All aspects of these labels are very important, and the Rautelaji and other speakers have specified these things. The standardization of label. What should be the content? What should be the size? What should be the font size? What should be the spacing? Everything is important, and that is specified by the speakers. It is well understood by all audience. Nandan Sastri has also explained that what kind of labels there are. He gave example of smart labels. How we can use QR codes. What should be the size of labels? You know, how can we use spotlight, and how can we avoid reflection due to spotlight? That is a very important aspect. He also mentioned
Areva?
about the MR technology in digital exhibition and the audio visual facilities used by the museum, and he focused about the audio guides. So
मैं फिर एडमिट जरा सा ठीक सुन
his slides show enlighten us in the matter of
चक्कर होना चाहिए हो सकती है तो कुछ खाना खाना का चक्कर छो बर्थडे को बनी ना
He's mute only.
Is it not audible?
Yeah, yeah. He's on mute.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir, you are very well audible. Please carry on.
Tanishka she has also explained. No,
वो दे रहा हूँ कुछ गड़बड़ मुझे लगा था
she is the
आप
right
जरा ठीक
person because she is associated with the NIT since long.
Just a second, sir. Rautela ji, can you just mute yourself?
It's done, madam. Done.
I couldn't get you. Can you please repeat? I had a disturbance. Somebody was on the phone. So,
It's okay, sir. No problem.
You had any question?
No, sir. It's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Kindly mute yourself.
Am I
Thank you.
am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
She has shown various slides on different kind of labels, and the labels in a book. Rajendra also commented on this, and the label in books, and he said take out labels. So these are all useful things to do in a museum, but it is only possible when we as museum professionals proper interest. This is time consuming and it requires mental exercise. Otherwise, it is not possible. She also explained about the interpretive group labels and the content of the label. So, her talk was also equally important and useful to all of us. Mr. Goswami, Dr. Goswami has also explained that what kind of museum, what kind of labels he has used for in a science center. Bhavnagar, he is the project director in Bhavnagar, and in science center, how can we use different kind of labels? Rautelaji also answered questions, what kind of materials we can use, because sometimes we are afraid to use material without knowing its property. Now, in many museums, I have seen that the labels, the paper labels, or what organic material is used, they are eaten away by the insects. The writing cannot be visible, then there is no meaning of label, and it remains for several months and years together. Nobody is going to change the label. So we should stop this kind of situation. We prefer the right kind of material for the label. He also answered contents, proper illumination of labels, so that the labels may not fade. Somewhere in museums, we see that the labels are faded and it is not visible. Where to put museum label? That is also Rautela's answer. The space within the showcase is also important, for deciding the size of the label. If you have a small showcase and you have 9 label, then also it doesn't look right. So all aspects this we have to consider. And regarding group labels also, Rautela's explained that one has to make group label when the small objects are displayed in large quantity by giving some
Thank you, Professor Shah. Now I invite Dr. Prasanna Gandhi, admin of Museovision Group West A, to share the vote of thanks.
Okay. Okay, thank you. First of all, give a big hand to Sujata ji and Dr. Girish Goswami ji. आप लोगों ने जो हार्ड वर्क किया उसी से ये सब पूरा 15 मीटिंग सेमिनार या वेबिनार और हम जो हाइब्रिड मोड पे कर रहे हैं ये सक्सेस हुआ है। आपकी बहुत लंबे टाइम से जो मेहनत आपने इसमें लगाई है इसके लिए आपके लिए गिव ए बिग हैंड अगेन। सबसे पहले मैं जो हमारे स्पीकर्स हैं उनका आभार मानना चाहूँगा। डॉक्टर राउतेला जी, नंदन शास्त्री जी, गिरीश जी और तरिस्का जी, आप सभी का बहुत ही आभार है। म्यूजियविजन ग्रुप की तरफ से, म्यूजियविजन वेस्ट ए ग्रुप और वेस्ट बी ग्रुप, और आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ लाल भाई दलपत भाई ग्रुप की तरफ से। आपने जो विषय को तैयार किया है, सब्जेक्ट को तैयार किया और सब्जेक्ट तैयार करने के बाद पीपीटी पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन में आपने यहाँ पे विषय रखा। जो हमारे यहाँ फिजिकल यहाँ उपस्थित है उन लोगों को भी समझाया, और जो ऑनलाइन है उन लोगों के लिए भी आपने पीपीटी प्रेजेंट करके वहाँ तक आपका नॉलेज, आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन पहुँचाई। उसके लिए आप सभी वक्ताओं का, स्पीकर्स का मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। सुजाता जी और उनकी पूरी टीम जिन्होंने यहाँ पे आज सुबह से लेकर अब तक जो मेहनत की और पूरा वेबिनार, सेमिनार और ये मीटिंग ऑर्गेनाइज की, और उसके लिए इनका जो सपोर्ट रहा है बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त सपोर्ट रहा है। इसके बिना ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं था। आप लोगों को जानकर खुशी होगी, और मैं बताना भी चाहूँगा कि ये मीटिंग हाइब्रिड मोड पे चल रही है। तो एक तो हमारा जो गूगल मीट लिंक है उसके ऊपर तो लाइव जा रहा है, उसके साथ साथ यूट्यूब और इंस्टाग्राम पे भी लाइव हो रहा है। तो बहुत सारे लोग यूट्यूब और इंस्टाग्राम पर भी इसी को देख रहे हैं। तो बहुत सारे श्रोता इसका लाभ ले रहे हैं, और सब्जेक्ट्स ये इस सब्जेक्ट्स में जिनको रस है वो भी ये सेमिनार, वेबिनार और मीटिंग्स हमारी देख रहे हैं। सभी स्टाफ मेंबरों का मैं फिर से शुक्रिया अदा करूंगा कि आप लोगों ने बहुत ही मेहनत करके ये मीटिंग को सक्सेस किया है, इसलिए आप सभी का धन्यवाद। खास तौर पे सुजाता जी, आपको मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि आपके जो ट्रस्टी है उन्होंने आपको यहाँ मीटिंग करने के लिए आपको ये जगह और ये प्रीमाइसिस और आपको जो परमिशन दी, तो आपके ट्रस्टी का भी मैं बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ कि हमें यहाँ मीटिंग करने के लिए मौका मिला और हम सक्सेसफुली कर पाए। ऑफलाइन और यहाँ ऑनलाइन जो भी श्रोता है, जो भी हमारा ये प्रोग्राम मीटिंग्स देख रहे हैं, उन सभी का भी मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ कि आप लोगों ने इतनी संख्या में यहाँ मीटिंग में उपस्थित रह के, फिजिकल भी और ऑनलाइन पर भी उपस्थित रह के आपने ये मीटिंग को सक्सेस बनाया है। इसलिए आप सभी का भी मैं शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। और ख़ास तौर पे पूरे सब्जेक्ट्स को नरेश भाई ने कंक्लूडिंग किया, और उन्होंने जो आपने पूरे सब्जेक्ट्स को कवर अप करके लास्ट में आपने जो बात रखी, उसके लिए मैं आपका भी म्यूजियोविजन वेस्ट ए, वेस्ट बी ग्रुप और लाल भाई दलपत भाई ग्रुप की तरफ से आप सभी का धन्यवाद अदा करता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Ms. Priyanka, let me just allow to speak one thing. As a member of the Museovision, अभी जैसे प्रसन्ना जी ने बोला कि ये मीटिंग किया है, अगर कोई भी मीटिंग, कोई भी फंक्शन, या कोई भी ऐसा प्रोग्राम जो कि म्यूजियम के कंटेंट, डिलीवरी और रिसर्च से रिलेटेड है, और तो हमारे सेंटर में सबका मैं स्वागत करता हूँ, आप कभी भी आप पधार सकते हैं एंड आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू होस्ट दैट मीटिंग। और अगर कोई भी आपका स्टूडेंट रिसर्च करना चाहता है, वट एवर वी आर हैविंग इन प्लेस, आई वेलकम यू ऑल फॉर द सेम। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
I'd like to thank everyone who joined us online and on-site for your participation. Each participant will receive a e-certificate. Now I would like to close the online forum. Thank you everyone for joining. Whoever present on-site, please join us for tea before you leave. Thank you.